All right, there's clean B8, and here is the clean backside B8 that you're going to be able to observe as I'm shooting it with some shot calling here. This is cold shots for the day. I haven't fired any rounds yet today. The one disclaimer I'll throw out there, I thought I had a different box of ammunition in the truck, and I did not. I failed to bring that to the range with me, so I'm shooting a different 147 grain than I wanted to. I've not noticed an extreme difference. There could be a couple of clicks there, but yeah, so this is unoccluded dot, cold, 10 shot. I'm at 25 yards. Big thing that I'm going for here is making that call. That would have been called center. But I got to be able to make that call in real time as the dot lifts in recoil. Where was the dot at when the shot broke? It's not about seeing the hole in the target. It's about seeing your sights when you fire the shot. Here we go. Call that center. I can only go off of what I have for available information. I am going to try dot down one. Nah, that's a little too dim. It's getting me sucked in too much to the dot. All right, I will say it is about 30 degrees out, and that's without wind chill. I'm guessing it's probably in the 20s with wind chill. That had some up-down movement to it, but where I last kind of saw it at, I would say that broke out to the 10 ring. 7 o'clock, there was some up and down to it. So that's where the timing of it, if it was off, it could have jumped up to the 10, but I think that was in recoil after. So I'm going to call that 10 ring 7 o'clock. That could be all the way out to the 9, 6 o'clock 9 ring. That one broke a little low, but then it was coming back up a little bit. But I think that was after. So my hands are absolutely going numb already. So the surprise break is no joke. It's hard for me to really gauge how much pressure is going into the trigger as my fingers becoming numb already. That felt good, looked good, not just felt. I call that center. The recoil brought it up, but I believe that was post-shot where I saw the dot rise to the 12 o'clock into the 10 and even into the 9 under recoil. But I believe the shot had already went by then. All right, so I'm getting some tremors. I'm going to put the gun away. So this is true slow fire, right? So if I see something that I don't like, I need to be willing to stop and not try to power through. That's where I'm going to run into problems. If I just try to keep powering through it, I'm not going to get good results that way. So I usually try not to break my stance. I broke it there for a second, so I got to try and get back to natural point of aim. Yeah, hands definitely are going out. I believe that was 1 o'clock and 10 ring. Yeah, 10. I don't think it was out to the 9. I believe that was 1 to 2 o'clock, 10 ring, right as it broke. That looked like it was the left half of the X ring. 8 to 9 o'clock, right on the edge of the X10. Started to have, I believe I was starting to slightly add to the gun, thinking recoil was about to go, and it was a moment later. So I think I started to push down about 6 to 5 o'clock on the 10 ring there. Didn't get too far away, but it was sitting right in the X, and then right before it broke, I saw it just start to come low, the X ring. That was good, just except wobble zone, no pre-movement there, pre-ignition. I would call that in the 10 to 11 o'clock. The very edge of the X, it might have gotten all the way out to the 10, but it was pretty good. Top left quadrant, kind of that 10, 11 o'clock of the X. I was about to abort that shot. I was like, hey, you're about tapped out on your time. Back to the call, I would say 3 to 2 o'clock. X maybe over to the 10, but right on there on the right side, top right quadrant, if you want to just cut the X ring in half, right, where the 2 and the 3 would be at, 2, 3, 1. Too much movement, right, and that's probably the toughest thing for me anyway, it seems, is to be willing to abort the shot, right. If you try and demand that dot to sit still when it starts moving more and more and more, and the dot is literally moving more as you're wanting it to stop moving, but it's just more and more and more, you got to be willing to stop, right? Otherwise, you're rolling the dice. So it all depends on what your desired impact area is, what your wobble zone, how much you're giving yourself, right? Right now, I am really trying to reduce my wobble zone to staying within the X ring as much as possible. Nope. Almost had it. If it had broken there for, there's about 1 or 2 seconds that it would have been good, maybe half a second. And it would have been great, but it didn't break within that time. And then all of a sudden I had wobbles all the way out to the 9 ring. So that's when I got to let it go. Right. All right. So let me call that real quick. That 10x up to 11, 12 o'clock, I believe. That was actually one of the shots I probably felt like I had the least amount of focus on it, though. So with that, I did not lose my choo-choo here, my train of thought. I did not totally lost it. I saw the target, it distracted me. Oh yeah, so I did not count, I purposely did not count how many shots I had fired, because before I get into the target, I'll just keep talking this. I did not want to know how many shots I had fired, because I tend to go, hey, this is shot number 10, just hurry up and get this thing over with. Don't let this 10th shot mess with you, and then it ends up messing with me, right? So I didn't want to count the shots. I didn't want to know what it was. All right, so what we see here is, just like I thought, there's absolutely some clicks, right? I'll throw this into the app and we'll see exactly what it should be, right? But it's going to throw me centered up somewhere in here. It'll be really interesting to see which shot this is, right? And really I do this for my own value of confirming or denying my shot calls. Because if all I do is come down here and see all 10 shots, I have no idea if what I called was there or not. I might have called one perfect center X, and I come down here and that confirms, oh look, that was the right call. Well, guess what? That could have been this shot, and this could be one that I called out to the 9 o'clock and it actually went there. Now, what you have to understand is, if I was seeing the dot here and the group printed here, like when I was calling 9 o'clock shots, they should be these ones, right? So it's off the center of the group. Now I have to look at where those shots broke to as to where I called them, not off of center of the target, because that's just an adjustment thing, okay? So there's a group that is easily tight enough for a 100 with a very high X count, probably centered up. That'd probably get me at least 8, if not 9X. But the adjustments just aren't dialed on the gun because it was supposed to be doing a different type of ammo, right? So this was the Chambers CC with the Hollow Sun 507 comp on it, shooting 147. Here's another mag of it. That was 147, just American Eagle 147 grain, nothing super special, but this thing loves it. And 25 yards, slow fire with very meticulous staying in the process and shot calling. Thanks for spending the last 13 minutes with me, and hopefully it was valuable time for both of us.